Worries.
All right, we are live. Welcome to Lais and The Coach, where I am going to play the coach tonight. This evening, we have a special guest. Monica has been with us for quite some time. And while we did not get a chance to talk to her before or after her first show, she did complete her second show just a few weeks ago. And we've actually been wanting to get Monica on the show for a while. Have gone through so many waves in the last 2 or 3 years because there's been so much going on. But welcome to the show, Monica.
Thank you guys. I'm excited.
I know, we're so excited.
Just for if any of you have watched the last couple of shows, the theme's kind of been the same. Like, no matter what you got going on, like, you just got to get this stuff done, right? But I want Monica to talk a little bit about what she's got going on currently. So just to give context to everything that we're about to say. So tell everybody what you do and all that stuff.
So I run my own company. I have my own business, and I'm a board certified behavior analyst. So we provide behavior analysis services to children with autism and different disabilities. So that's my job. So I run my company. It's been growing. I had just started it when I met Ralph, if you remember.
Yeah.
Years ago.
And it was like a side gig at the time.
It was my side. I had a full-time
we go way back.
Yeah, it's been 4 years, Ralph. It's been a long time.
4 years already?
4 years, almost 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a whole other president back then.
Yeah. Yes.
People don't realize time goes.
It's crazy.
You just can't
Okay, let's hear more about you.
So it was a side gig anyway, but so now it's my full-time gig. So that's what I do. It's been, again, it keeps growing. So that's really doing well. I'm really happy with it. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. One, a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, Riz and Rio. I have a special needs daughter, Rio, who she has Down syndrome and is also blind. What else do I have? I'm a student getting my PhD now. I also teach at.
So funny, I was going to say, because for a while you were teaching.
I still teach at Carlsbad BSU at the moment. I teach an undergrad psychology course. And then I'm also now doing my PhD, so I do that as well.
So you're a student, a teacher, a business owner, a mom of 2. One of them is special needs, and you're a bikini competitor, along with, of course, all of life's things that we all have.
Yeah, exactly, and everything else. And I'm also a bikini fitness competitor.
Yeah.
Say that. I said that first.
That's okay. That's okay. Yes. So when just to again context, when we first met, that you came to chat with us, was the intention always to get on stage, or were you just looking to improve your eating? Go have a transformation.
I wanted to get on stage. I think that's what initially was like, oh, wait, can I do that? I had seen a friend that you guys had trained back then. And I saw her transformation, and I was kind of motivated by that. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. And many years ago, I thought I would like to do that, but I didn't even know how does one do that? Who do I call? So, I never pursued it. But, so after seeing her transformation, I was like, oh, I could do this. And
it was somebody you knew.
Yeah. Somebody I knew. So that's even better than somebody you just watch on, Instagram or whatever.
For sure.
That's kind of what happened to her too. It was somebody that she knew.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even know her, but I had spent a day with her. We happened to be in the same meeting one day, and I had seen her in person. And there's something about somebody that you can see one way, and then you see them a different way, and you're like, what the hell? How did that happen?
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what happened, because I used to work out with her too. And I was like, whoa, how did that happen? You know?
Yeah.
So I was like, I want some of that. Whatever you got, I need some. So after talking to her, then I said, okay, I could do this. I mean, yeah, I wanted to be fit. I've always wanted to be fit at that level. But definitely I'm into all that, you know, the glitz and all that and the shows. And I kind of like that. So I was like, I want to do that, you know. And as an adult, I always say it's kind of like it feels like, you know, like, okay, so when you're a teenager or you're a kid, you do shows, right? They do like their karate thing, like your kid does, or they do their, you know, the jazz or their ballet show, and there's all these things. And then once you become adult, like, yeah, there's no more shows.
I say that all the time, not just shows. I say that we grow up our whole lives just having a thing or multiple things. Whether you're in some sort of club or you play a sport or you play an instrument or you dance or you do whatever, like we grow up like being incentivized to have things for us. But then we become adults and we get jobs and we get kids and we get, you know, spouses, and all of a sudden, like, we don't have a thing.
The only thing we have is dinner. Like, oh, want to go to dinner?
What am I making for dinner and how much laundry do I have to do?
I know.
So then we don't have a thing anymore. So I'm with you. Like, it's funny that you even like thought of it that way, because I always say that and people are like, you're right. Like, I don't have a thing anymore, you know?
So, and I wanted a thing, and I was like, oh, maybe that could be my thing, you know?
And how cool of a thing is it to work out and eat right and your body feels good and you feel good? It's like,
look good.
It's like, wow, what a thing. You know, it's so
rewarding
and rewarding that you can have this thing to participate in, and at the same time, just full of benefits, you know, like as a human.
Yeah.
So on this journey, right, we say, all right, so let's do one of these shows. And that first time around, how was it overall, in the sense that, was it harder than you thought it was going to be? Was it like more restrictive than you thought it was going to be? Like, how was your first show experience?
So the first one, well, again, I didn't know what was happening, so it was all new. I feel much more comfortable now, but even how I was told to eat, or, you know, the exercise, whatever, that's fine. You know, you have to work out hard, okay? You know, like, that's a given.
It is what it is.
It is, like, I don't know, whatever, you know. Yeah, it's hard. I've always liked to work out, so to me, that's fine. I enjoy that. The food, you know, was adjusting in the beginning, because I was like, wait, that's a lot of food. Like, you know, I'm gonna eat all that. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? You know, so stuff like that. But you know, I just kept doing it, and I was like, okay, well, I'm getting results. Maybe it was a little bit hard. Like the first show, I think it was a little bit harder. That right before show, the menu for me got a little bit more strict that first time than this second time. So that was a little like, oh, but it still wasn't as bad as
some of the things you've heard.
Yeah, or some of the things I hear people say that, oh no, I don't drink any water, or I had to eat this. And, you know, I still was able to eat what I liked. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you guys a story when, like, as we were going through this, she used to teach on Wednesdays or Thursday nights.
Me?
Back then,
well, Wednesdays, I think it was, yeah.
Like, all right, I have a croqueta and a pastelito, where like they got these ones. So we had to like build all of that in, so that not only could she be compliant, but at the same time, it's like, you know, well, it's just food. So how much were we really talking about? So she said one croqueta, one pastelito, and I'm like, all right, great. And then we just built it in, and guess what? She did it all the time. There was, you know, no reason not to be compliant.
No, that's right. Yeah, that's right. In the first prep, I had pastelito de guayaba, like almost every. I did. It was like one every. Almost, now I'm like, I don't want them on my menu.
I didn't even want it.
Now I don't even want it. But back then I was like, I wanted those things, you know. That's funny. That's right. I forgot about the pastelito. Yeah.
And listen, for anybody watching, before you send me a text message and say, hey, can I have pastelito? Like, you know, we mathematically equated that. It's not, you know, it wasn't a free for all.
But you always say you can fit anything in, even with a goal this big. And that's what you always say, even about my prep. My first prep, I had Pop-Tarts every day. My second prep, I had Cuban toast with butter every morning. And it's like, there's always like a thing, you know, there's always a thing. This last prep, I had wine every day. Like, it's just, you can fit anything.
But I think as she found her groove, got more, it was more about fueling the body to get the outcome. than necessarily like I want this or I want the other.
Yeah, exactly.
So you made it all the way to the stage. How was that experience?
So it was great. It was so much fun. I mean, that's the best part, being backstage and when like I never get to like dress up like that or put on makeup like that, or be glamorous like that, and I like that, but I never get a chance to do that. So here it was, and it was just so much fun. Being in backstage like with all the girls, that's a big thing for me. I think that at my age, and in this time of life for I think many women, like it's hard to find friends, it's hard to get connected when we're all so busy. And like I mean I really wanted that too. I want community, and I got that, so that for me was so much fun, being backstage. One of my best friends, because Jackie had did that show, so it was so fun to have her there. And it was just a blast. I love the backstage. I love the makeup and all that. And then being on stage was amazing. It was nerve-wracking, whatever. I mean, it's another thing. You just got to go into it and you're freaking out, and I was nervous. But I still loved it. Like when it was over, it's like, oh, that's it. I don't get to go back on, So that's why like in this one, I did 2 categories, and that was like moving forward, I'll always do that because I felt like just busier. You know what I mean? Like I was like
you had more.
What's next? And what's next? So it kept it going longer than the first. For sure, I'll keep doing 2 just because I get to do more. You know what I mean? And
and it gives you an opportunity to get the jitters and the nerves out on that first round.
Yes. The second so much better. I felt it. I knew better, so I agree 100.
So how did you manage like, all of the things that you have going on, and fitting time to work out and obviously eat your food?
Yeah. Well, so it's become like I always tell everybody, it's non-negotiable. It's something that's gonna happen, like brushing my teeth, and now it's so automatic. I mean, but I'm like 4 years in, you know what I mean? It wasn't always like that, but now eating my food, I hardly even I can memorize the menu now, and I know, and I can, I don't send you a lot of pictures of food. It's not because I'm not doing it, Ralph. You know that, Coach. But because I just feel like I don't feel like I need to send you every picture of everything I eat. Like today, send more pictures, but I don't know, because I saw the thing you did, last night, and I'm like, oh, but it's just become so. I'm gonna have my scale, I weigh, and that's how I eat, and I'm fine. Like I don't even think twice anymore. Back then, I remember I would go to a lot of events and be like, oh my God, they're gonna make me eat. No, but now it doesn't even bother. Someone asked me, I'm like, no.
But I think from my side, because obviously like I'm always looking at life happening, right? Back then your schedule was also different. Right now you're more in charge of your schedule, and you are the one that's dictating. But back then, like you said, one day you have to go teach, another day you have an event. Like there were more things going on.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like we had to manage other things to make it work out, and we still did it. But I think that now, in retrospect, looking back, it's like now you've got a better handle on all of it. But at the same time, you're more in control of where you're going to be and when you're going to be there.
And it showed. Like I know that it always compounds, right? Like every prep compounds on top of each other. Every month, regardless of how fully on or not you are, like all the work compounds. He always says that. But this prep, like this show, the change was so tremendous, in my opinion, in terms of your physique and in terms of how you looked, like you felt, and that goes to show with the amount of work that you were able to put in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, I don't want to keep jumping back and forth, but this particular prep toward the end, it was, we're going to get what we can get. Like it wasn't as smooth sailing as it looked. Because we were overcoming a bunch of things, and
right. Because we said life happens, and I had a lot of big changes in my life happen, and a lot of people would be like, "How are you even doing this?" I'm like, I have to. Like, this is the only thing that has to keep happening. If everything goes out the fucking window, this has to keep happening. And you know, and it wasn't perfect. Like, I'm excited for the next one because I'm like, oh,
I told you, I said, listen, we're still doing great. Like we
right.
are inside of what we have.
Right. So, and somehow, I don't know, I pulled it out of the, I don't know, you know what I mean? But it was like, it was something that just, and it helped me. It helped me focus on something that's mine and that's good and that's healthy and that's, you know, that I want to do myself, you know? So it had to happen. It had to happen. It had to happen. There was no not gonna happen. You know what I mean?
So let me rewind a little bit. So you did that show November 2019, that first one.
Yeah.
So fast forward 3 months into 2020, and then COVID hit, right? So you are a part of our COVID crew where we were mapping out a show, and all of a sudden it's like shit, like everything is closed.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and then, well, it's funny too, because everybody's talking about, you know, all the weight they gained in COVID and all that stuff. I didn't. I worked the hardest during that time. The first month, I got a little crazy because, you know, I lost work, you know, like all my clients canceled. Like it was like 2 months of like, and you know, everybody was freaking out. I didn't know what was happening. I was like, oh my God, my life has to stop. But even then, I think I didn't stop working out. You know what I mean? Like I managed to keep working out, you know? But yeah, no. Well, I mean, you know, like these experiences, right? Like you said, they compound, right? So, if you were able to work out during COVID like that, you know, any other big life event that happens, it's not good. I mean, I've gone through, remember, I got pretty much fired from a job.
Yeah.
Remember, I
know we were going to go over all of that.
But I mean, I almost did, you know. We had like these huge legal issues I had to deal with, things that I thought.
Let me tell you something, guys. Like, I'm like all in people's business. Like when like we would be working out, like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, we got this thing and I'm gonna start this business. I'm like, yeah, another set. Ah, yeah, I know, but I've got like, I'm looking for this and I'm doing that. I'm like, yeah, another set.
Yeah, you had a bunch of stuff going on.
I had so many things happen, you know, and then they just keep happening. But it's almost like, I don't know, like it's like it makes you stronger.
Yeah. And then on top of it, you were supposed to get on stage in November of 2020, but they changed the show date to Thanksgiving weekend, and then you couldn't make it. So you got, is that here? You had all of your shows in 2020 canceled or postponed or had to be rescheduled.
Yeah, because we rolled from that show, like, all right, we're gonna do this again, and life just like happened, right? Because I didn't ask for any of this, but one of the things that I saw across the board was all of you guys that had this goal or something like this goal kept doing it because at the time it was the only thing that we could control. You could eat your food and you could work out.
Yeah.
Other than that, we were all playing the same weight game.
Right. And that's the thing. Like they talk about things that you can control and things you can't. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't control those things that happened, you know? Or I mean, some things you can, but like I know that I can control that. I can control if I'm gonna go work out or not. I control what I eat. And that feels good to have control over certain things. It makes you like people want that, you know what I mean? And we can't control everything that happens to us. But there are things that we can, you know? So I always stay focused on that. That's like what I always have now. You know what I mean?
Like an anchor.
Exactly. Like I always have it. And now I'm like, there's no turning back now. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like I can't, you can't, you know? I mean, some people do, like, I don't know. Sometimes I get surprised now when I see some people that go backwards. I'm like, how does that happen? You know, but I don't know, you know, like I couldn't it would be, I don't know.
Well,
Like,
you know, I always say,
you know, like
that thermostat, right? Like your temperature is set at a different level now.
Right.
And honestly, to reset it, like considering how many things have gone on and you've persevered through it, to reset your temperature now would take so much. Yeah. Like you would literally have to say, okay, that's it. Like I'm not going to do this.
I'm giving you my life.
I'm giving you my life. You know, other short of that, like how you navigate through all of this and stay consistent with your fitness and your health, like it would be really difficult to undo a lot of
You probably had the most gone on out of anybody that we know in terms of like personal things, you know, like
Yeah.
we all have things that happen.
Not business too, like, you know,
That's
like,
personal.
no one understands that more than us, you know.
Yeah.
Because we were on the same boat. Like one day it's like, all right, you all have to close.
Yeah. But even at the beginning of her journey, like starting a new business, you know, it's like so many things happening like that will easily make people like not focus on themselves or their goal and just problem solve or do what they need to do in other areas of their life, and they'll put this to the side. And you've prioritized it these last 4 years through many life things, and you continue to do that because your life things haven't stopped happening, you know.
And they never will. And they never will. There's going to be something, you know, some are bigger than others, you know, but like, I know this has to stay because this is the only thing. This, how can I say? I mean, I remember I used to say like when I had my daughter, I had her, 5 years ago, right, in December. And then my Rio, right, my daughter who has Down syndrome and is blind. And obviously that was like, you know, that was very emotional and crazy. And it took me a long time to recover from that. But I did a lot of work, right, to recover for that in my head. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, and I felt good in my head, but I felt like my body, I would say my body just didn't match my mind, or didn't match what I thought, like who I saw myself as. And I was like getting ready, like, and I had been thinking about my business. My business was there. I just was scared to go and do it. I wanted to this, I wanted to do that, but I just wouldn't go and do it, or just postpone, you know. But then when I was able to I guess accomplish, you know, because if you do this every week, you're gonna see something new, right? And every week you're gonna be like, oh wow, look at that, you know what I mean? And every week you're gonna get reinforced. Maybe not in the every week, even in the beginning, it happens, you know, if you just keep doing it. So, you know, because that behavior, I was always getting reinforced, and it kind of made me, I don't know. It's like I almost feel sometimes like I owe a lot to this. Do you know what I mean? Like I owe a lot of my progress in business. I owe a lot of my progress in life, you know, and how I can handle things to this, you know, like, because I can do hard things, you know what I mean? Like we can do the hard things, and I know because I can do all kinds of hard things, you know, like hard things, you know, emotional hard things, mental hard things, now physical hard things, or things like with my diet, when, you know what, yeah, I want to eat that whole pizza, but I can't. You know what I mean? Like, that's a thing that a lot of people can't say no. They can't.
Yeah.
You know, I can, you know.
Yeah. And sometimes the milestones maybe you don't see in the body, but you're like, I stuck to what I needed to do today or yesterday or this week. And maybe I don't see it, but I know that I committed more than ever because I know that I did my stuff and I went all in on this, and I can pat myself on the back. And then you get to that moment where it is hard to say no to something, but you do it. And then you get to the moment where you learn how to pose, and that takes you more out of your comfort zone. And that's another thing. And you start to stack these things, you know, and then by the time you get to the stage, like that just becomes the icing on the cake. Like I did all of these things that were new, hard, out of my comfort zone, whatever you want to call them. They all stacked and created a new me that's more confident because of all of that. And now I also did this crazy thing, which is step on stage in a bikini, and I get to add that to this pile that I already created on this journey. So and it does spill over into relationships and friendships and parenting and business and everything.
Yeah.
So how do you structure your food? Do you prep in advance? Do you cook as you go? How do you structure that stuff so that you,
because I have more flexibility now and I'm home, I can be home a lot, you know what I mean, with my business. I just kind of cook as I go now. I used to prep a lot when I was out in the street, bring it all. But now I wake up, I make my breakfast. Like I'm just so used to it. Like that's what I eat. I eat
like automatic.
like that's what I eat every morning. And I'm fine with it. Like I don't crave nothing else. I just cook as I go.
Okay.
I mean, I have it written down on my fridge, you know. I like to, like, when I get it, I sometimes like to write it. Like I think when I write it, like I don't know, I memorize it or something. But I just cook as I go. Unless, you know, I have to go somewhere, like I'm, you know, then I'll prep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then as far as balancing out like when you have work things or parenting things, right? Like obviously we've heard that the eating is automatic, so it's not something that's going to delay you. But does anything suffer as a result of this process for you? Do you feel like anything is getting put on the sideline, or
getting the short end of
or
the
getting
stick?
getting the short end of the stick?
I mean, no, I mean, I have to eat anyway, right? Like, it's not like I cannot eat, right? That's going to happen. So I don't think.
I said that. You
What?
You got to eat anyway. Because I say that to people all the time. You know, you got to eat anyway.
Yeah, like, so, like I have to eat. Like I have to make time to eat. The thing is, what I cook is what everybody eats. You know what I mean? So like, if I made rice and picadillo, ground beef, like everybody can eat that. Mine just has to be measured. You know what I mean? Or whatever. So it's not like I'm going out of my way to cook different stuff or anything like that. No. The only thing, no, I mean, even my workouts, I mean, I always worked out. I've been doing this a long time now, I think. So it's kind of like, it's just what I do. You know what I mean?
Part of your identity. Like
It's part
Part of your day, part of your life.
What have you heard socially? Because one of the obstacles for a lot of people is always like the noises, right? The people in their ear. You're still on that diet? You're still working out? Like,
Still doing that thing?
Still doing that thing? Like, what have you heard on your side?
Now I don't hear that anymore. And I think because now people have seen the transformation. You know what I mean? So now no one's going to be like, why are you still doing that?
But at the beginning,
yeah, like maybe you want to join, you know? So it's I don't get any of that anymore.
But at the beginning you did?
Yeah, of course. Now nobody, even if I ever I mean, there's like more functions going on, but I guess again now, like I'm so much more confident in it too. Like I don't care if I go somewhere, they're like, here, I'm like, no, I don't eat that, or you know what I mean? Like no, I'm having.
That's an
like,
interesting point, because how often do you think that pressure is really the person just not feeling comfortable saying no?
Oh, yes.
That's
I mean,
so true.
I have a hard time saying no to everything. You know, like that's one of the things I'm working on is no. You know, I don't want that. You know, so. Now with the food, that's like easy. Like no, like but
I always joke, like when you're at a party and somebody's going to offer you like, hey, have a little piece of this, or one piece isn't going to make a difference. You never offer them a protein bar and say, hey, why don't you have a protein bar? One protein bar isn't going to make you fit. It never goes the other way. But after you said that, I'm like, I wonder how often the challenge is really the person being afraid to say, no, I don't want that.
Well, I've actually gotten that on my Instagram. Like if I post a video of us measuring food on a scale in a restaurant, people are like, I've had people write in and be like, don't people look at you weird? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like you can look at me weird all you want, and sometimes it's a stranger, sometimes it is a member, and they're like, do people look at you weird? Because people look at me weird. I'm like, I don't even notice there's people there. I don't even care.
No, yeah, listen, that's funny you say about people looking at you weird. So because, now I'm like, getting fancy with my TikTok videos and stuff and my workout videos. So today I did a workout video. I haven't posted it yet, but I will. And I got it because you were saying in your thing last night, oh, like you wanted to see the workout. I'm like, well, let me do some videos of my workouts, but I'll make them really cute, So anyway, here I'm at the gym and there's people there, and I would never have put in my phone to record myself working out ever back then. Never would that even cross my mind, especially if people there. You know what I mean?
And I was like, all right,
can you hold this for me? Can you
video? Take a video. Yeah, I was like that with like selfies, like pictures or videos. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that for people now. I'm like, I don't even care. There's people here.
But you know what? How cool is that? That something like this can even give you that kind of confidence. Where you're like, you know what? Can you hold this?
Yeah, I didn't do that, but like today, I was like, no, there was. She was right next to me, this girl working out. And I was like, it did cross my mind. I was like, wait, that's like weird. I'm like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, and I just videotaped myself. And then, and I did a lot of different things today. So I videoed all of them, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, totally. And I think that one of the things that I gained from this, and I see a lot of you gain the same, is the confidence and being more out of your shell, which a lot of times we don't realize, A, how much that harms our self-confidence, and B, how much it impacts other areas of our life. Because I used to be like, it's okay that I'm shy. It's okay that I'm in my shell. I don't need to be like everybody else. I don't need to be out there and outspoken. Like, I can just be reserved and shy, and that's okay to be me. But really, I didn't want to be like that. That was an excuse that I was making because I wasn't brave enough to be me for real. A version of me that was more free and able to take that picture of myself or say what I wanted to say and not worry about what people thought of me. Because at the end of the day, you left the gym, you're never going to see those people again. You don't know them. Nothing about them impacts you or your life in any way. And we spend so much time worrying about shit like that. And I was like, I always justified it to myself and says that's just how I am. And through this process, through photo shoots and Instagram and stage moments and having to pose and teach people, like everything that I've gone through, like I've been able to create this out of my shell version of me that I didn't know how badly I needed. And I've seen it with all of you too, because it does really impact us in a negative way to be like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think I've always wanted to be more out, you know, of my shell and more, you know, with, what, you know, like just posting and doing the fancy pictures and the photo shoots is something I've always would love to do, you know, but, and I would see, oh, okay, that's not, I guess that's not my life. You know what I mean? Like I would think, you know, oh, I wish I could do stuff like that. And, but you know, the thought would cross your mind and that's it, you know? But no, I actually love that kind of stuff. And, you know, you get better at it, right? Like,
of course.
I'm more comfortable now with the photo shoots and I think as I do more, you know, like
always.
Watch out.
Yes, you continue to level up.
And,
yeah.
And even through like the dialogue, right? Like to me, that clicked, like I'm making notes because to me that clicked so many other things. Because on my side, one of the obstacles that people often want to know is, especially when they're on this journey, is that what do I do if I go to a party? Or what do I do if I have family over? What do I do? And I'm always trying like, well, what are you going to have? Like, are you going to have, like, what do your family normally eat? Like, I'm all very, very inclusive, right? Like, whatever, like, is there going to be pizza or pork or whatever? Like, we can figure it out. But on the flip side, it's like, don't eat it, you know, like say no. And it's okay. Like, I know that culturally we always say that people get offended if you reject their food, but do they really?
But why is it okay for me to like not hurt my feelings or my process and I have to worry about your feelings? Like, that's not right.
Like it's so funny because you're saying that and I'm in, like, I've been at my mom's house and I'm like, I'm not gonna eat that. She's like, I mean, like I'm just not gonna eat that. Like,
yeah.
You know? And it's offensive. We even last year for that November show, remember they moved it to Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
So my mom flew in for Thanksgiving and she was getting on stage Saturday. So we went to my brother's house for Thanksgiving and the whole ride, I'm like, just can't eat. Like, I'm sorry if everybody like.
It's in 3 days. Like,
you know, we had a show and Bree was getting on stage too. Like if people get offended, like, sorry. You know, what are we gonna do?
Like I worked months for this and I'm not gonna ruin it because you're gonna get offended. Like, no offense, but.
Exactly.
But anyway, so we got ready for this show just now 4 weeks ago. It's just only been a month, right? And this prep brought a bunch of things along the way, but you persevered, you got it done. How was this experience that weekend in comparison to the first one? Just the weekend itself, not the prep.
I don't know. It was different. I think for me, one, because I was a little more comfortable, so it was more enjoyable. I think it might have been nice that it was far away from home in a way. I don't know. Because last time I was in Miami, and even though I wasn't, I still lived very close, you know. But there was something about I don't know, about going away. Being away was really nice. I think our group, you know, I felt like I got closer with people, and I want to, you know, you know how we have like, I feel like I want to know everybody more. And I feel like, Monica, you've been wanting a group of friends. You've been wanting all these things, and here it is right here in front of you. Like, so what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? So I know that I was like, okay, you know how they say, if you want friends, be a friend. If you want love, be love, right? If you want whatever you want, you have to do it, right? So God, it's right in fucking front of me. You know what I mean? So I have to put time into foster those relationships. So that's what I've been doing. I'm like, you know, me and Erica, for example, have gotten close, and I'm like, come on, let's go. Let's, you know, and I haven't been able to go to one of the group fitnesses, but I really I can make the August ones. And I was like, oh, I in the chat, I was like, oh, we're all in Florida, in Miami. Like, let's go out like to dinner together. So I'm going to organize that, you know, so we can all hang out. But yeah, like I felt just, I don't know, the group was really good. The groups are always good. Everybody's great. Yeah. But felt, I don't know, it felt a little bit more
family, community, closeness.
Yeah.
It was a good vibe.
It was a really good vibe. Yeah. So I don't know why or what was the, you know what I mean? Like why it was like that, the personalities, I don't know. But it was just a really good click with everybody. I just felt connected.
I think it's a combination of, like you said, it's always a good group. And of course there are always different personalities, but right now I think our team is really solid. But I think it's also based on where you are. You know, we experience things based on our ability to experience things. So it's like, you're in a place where you want to make friends. So that's something that you really paid attention to and gravitated towards and kind of like received because it's what you wanted, right? You know, and nobody spent that weekend not thinking the same thing, but not everyone is in that. Like everyone's also in a different space. So I think we're always able to experience things in whatever way, like we're willing to. And that's, I think, the beauty of like paying attention to the milestones and the wins and overcoming the hard stuff and going into it like you're trying to have a good experience and get close to your team. Because if someone's just focused on how nervous they are and how freaked out they are, or they're just going to get negative about their hair appointment running late, like they're going to have a completely different experience and they're in the same place at the same time. So I think it always depends on us too, what kind of experience we're going to have.
And I want to say, I also think that there's a lot of diversity on the team in terms of where everybody's starting point was, but where they are in their journey. Like this was your second show, you know, this was Marcy and Julie's third show. There were a bunch of people that were doing it for the first time. So everybody kind of like had a role in our squad, right? Like, and I think that it nurtured a certain amount of chemistry within you guys that have been there already to kind of like let the other ones know, like, listen, it's all going to be okay. But at the same time, everybody was already having a good time, you know, so it just propelled all the other stuff. So by the time you got on stage, everybody, if there was no stage, that weekend would have still been a good weekend, you know, because everybody was just having so much fun between photo shoots and hanging out and doing all this stuff. It was just a good weekend. And then on top of that, there was stage time.
Yep. Yeah. And the show was smoother too.
Yeah. It was,
you know what I mean? Or maybe because I already had experience. I don't know. You know what I mean? But like, it just felt smoother. And like I said, I did the 2 categories and that was like, okay, change. Okay, I get to change. Okay, I get to change. Like so much. So the next time I'm like, no, I'm going to have 4 different outfits. I'm not right. You know? I'm like, I'm going to do that. You know, like I'm going to like change everything 4 times, you know? Yes. Yeah.
Totally.
You know?
But you know what's
funny? Gotta go all in.
I was talking to somebody earlier. I went to get like a jacket for Vegas, and we were talking about like sometimes people are like, you know, you have to invest a lot of money into.
Yeah, she's like, isn't it expensive?
But I said, just like golf, right? Like how many times does somebody buy a club because they think the ball will go, you know, 3 more feet, or you know, like let me get these balls because you know they're aerodynamic. So people are never afraid to, when they have a hobby or a thing that they participate in, people are never afraid to go all in on it for whatever thing can give them a little bit of an advantage, right? So I think that this is no different. Like if you're going to do 2 categories and you're going to change 4 times,
And do it
that's
all
what
the
you should
way.
do, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
Every
think-
hobby, every sport requires that, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
here's the other problem. If your kid was in whatever and they needed 10 million things and you would do it. Like we've spent so much money on karate shit. Like we would never say no.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. Right. And I had my moments, you know, because I you know, I spent a lot for this show. But whatever, you know, and there was moments where I was like, oh man, like that's a lot. But you know what? Because when you think about it, but when you add it all up, like, because there's stuff that you're paying way before, you know what I mean? And but I was like, no, but you know what? Like, this is my thing. You know what I mean? And I should be able to have my thing.
Yes, totally.
I wouldn't think twice for my kids thing, or you know what I mean, like something like that. And it's like, this is my thing. I'm allowed to have a thing. I'm allowed, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna allow it. You know what I mean? So
And I can tell you, like 90% of the people on the team are parents, and we say it all the time. Like if your kid had whatever activity, there would never be like any kind of hesitation, right? Why are you hesitating on yourself? You know,
Right.
like if anything, set the example. Say, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to go all out. Obviously, within the parameters of whatever circumstances somebody has.
Right. Don't put yourself in debt.
right. No, but you know, and I mean, and that's the thing. It's everybody has their own limits or what they can spend or what's what, you know.
But I find
regardless of that, how you look at it.
I find that there's a lot more hesitation and holding back, not because of the investment, but more because is this too much? Is this going to be too much? Like, you know, am I doing too much for me? I think that there's more hesitation there than the financial investment.
And there are memes about that. Like I'll go to Target and spend $500 on my kids, but you know, $20 for a shirt for me is too expensive. Like I've seen memes like that.
Yeah.
It's exactly how moms function.
Of course. And that guilt, you know, that mom guilt, you know, I get it all the time. Don't think I don't get it. I get it all the time. And I thought twice and oh my God, you know, and this is crazy. And, you know, but
you're still gonna get 4 outfits next time. So not that crazy.
So needless to say, that show was a good experience, and you left and you said, we're doing this and we're going bigger and better.
Yeah.
How much does having these deadlines and goal dates, like knowing that your show is at a specific time and date, right? Or a specific date within a specific amount of time to prepare for it. How much does that help you stay focused?
Oh, it's everything. You know what I mean? I know that like now we're still, you know, we still have time, you know what I mean? So I know now, even though I hardly even cheat that much, you know what I mean? Like I don't even need to. It's like the weirdest thing, you know what I mean? But if we're talking about like cheating on a meal or something, like if I do it, I know I could do it now, but I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? When we're closer to that deadline. But I have to get on stage in a bikini. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and now I have to beat my previous pictures. You know what I mean? Like I have to, you know? So, I know that I have till then, you know what I mean? Now I like the time because now I've done it already. I know what can be done in these 4 or 5 months, and I can make a lot of progress in 4 or 5 months. Yes. You know what? So I like that now. I'm good with what's happening now. Like, and let me get done what I have to get done today, and let me go through my workout today because it's gonna build. And I know that, you know, it's gonna have me looking great on that date. You know what I mean? So, and I don't know. I'm so automatic. Like now it's just like this is my life.
Let me ask you something, because as you were saying that, how important do you think it is to be in the now versus worrying about what the outcome is going to be 4 months from now?
Yeah.
That's usually one of the biggest things, right? Like, am I going to be ready? Am I going to be ready? And I always tell people, worry about today. Like, win today, right? Like, do today's workout, eat today's food.
Yeah.
How important is that?
Oh, I mean, it's everything. And again, this is another reason how I think this has into the rest of my life. Like, um, you know, I know I have to win the day, and I feel really good about myself when I do eat all my food correctly and I get my workout in. I typically, unless there's like some crazy stuff, and like this was a hard week this week, I had my girls every day. It was rough. Like I missed 2 days of working out. I had to cancel on you yesterday. But whatever, and then when it happens, I'm not going to give myself up. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But I know that if I do what I need to do today, already I'm going to have a good day just because I did that. So it kind of spills over into everything else I do because I got that done. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel accomplished. And again, I can see how a new person would be like, oh, just worried and anxious about that day. But now, like, and I always say, like, I went shopping today, and I don't even want to be like conceited about this, but
Stop. Don't even say that.
Like,
take conceited out of your vocabulary.
Conceited. No, I don't want to come off like an ass, but like, everything I put on felt and looked great. Like I bought like so much stuff, and so it's like, and I'm like, oh my God, there was a time where like you couldn't go bathing suit shopping because like, ugh, and you just feel gross about it, and it just made you depressed, or you know what I mean? And that doesn't happen. Anything I buy offline, it looks good. I'm like, how is this? Looks good. Like, I know, just give me a small, it'll fit, it'll be fine. Like, I know, and it does, and it comes and it's perfect. I'm like, wow, but that happens, I think, to people who are fit.
Yes.
Exactly.
And let me tell you something. What you started that with, which I've struggled with that a lot too, because I never want to sound bad. And I think that we're taught from a very young age to not be full of yourself and not be conceited and not think that you're better than anybody and not talk about yourself and all of these things. At the end of the day, like, if you're a good person or not, right? And there's always a way where someone says something where it sounds shitty or not. But having to preface feeling good in your own skin and looking great and like just being in a place where you're just hot, like you've worked your ass off to get here. Right. You weren't always here. Like what you just said, there was a time where shopping for something was depressing. So it's like, you should never downplay that. And I say that not just to tell you, but how many people don't even think about embarking on this journey because like, it's not good to be full of yourself. Like, that's so vain. Or even Marcia was saying the other day, who do I think I am? And it's like, we try so hard to like not be the people that we sit and freaking watch and admire all day, but refuse to take a step to be that person because it's somehow ugly to feel that way. Like the opposite, like it's one thing if you're just a bitch, but like everyone should love how they look and do the things that make them feel good and try on clothes and like, shit, I look fucking awesome, and be able to say that and that be an awesome thing, not like, careful what you say and who you say it to because it's gonna come off bad. Like, no.
Yeah. No, I know. And I mean, and that's the thing. And you see, I still have work to do because that's the first thing I thought of.
Me too.
Keep doing it. You have to keep doing it. I mean, I'm way better at it, like way less, F's I give, but still it'll come,
I'm not criticizing you. I'm saying it to say how many other women feel that way. Cause I have a lot of work to do in that area too.
Of course. Okay.
Well, I was going to say that when she was answering, she said, I can see how other people on the journey feel like, is this going to happen? Is this going to change? So, one of the things that I always ask everybody on the show is exactly that. For the person watching that is on the fence, thinking to themselves, I think I want to do that. I'm curious about it, but I don't know if I can do that, right? Like, I don't know if that's me.
That could be me.
What does this new Monica say to that person?
Oh, yes, it could be you. Trust me, look at some of my before pictures. Yes, you have to do it. You have to do it because, like lately I've been thinking a lot about the time is going to pass anyway, right? There, I can't do nothing about it. It's going to keep going every day. It's going to be tomorrow every day. And every day I always say, you know what, I get to try again tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, look how great that is. That tomorrow it's like right here and I can try again tomorrow. We can start again tomorrow, but you have to, right? Why? Because the time is going to pass anyway. And God, how awful would it be to not have given yourself the chance or the experience to do this thing that you thought you could never do. But not just that, like once you do this thing, you're going to see how you can do so many more things, right? It just changes your mindset. It's like the gym is the gym or the eating. It's like the best place to start, especially someone who is not like goal oriented and a go-getter like that. Like, I just naturally was like that. Now it's like on steroids, and I'm not on steroids. You know what I mean? Like on steroids, like I'm like, like I can do whatever I literally think that like I can do whatever I want. And people are like, this girl's crazy, but I'm like, no, literally I can have anything I want, like for real. And they're like, what? I'm like, no, seriously.
I love it.
But like, because I fostered this, because I did this, you know what I mean? And I saw, wait, if I can do this, like, this is hard. This is not you just do once in one day. Yeah, no, this is like every day, like,
Lots of consistency.
Yeah. And I think we were talking to Sanford. I said, Arnold always says that the gym teaches you everything you need to know about life. And it's those things like, there's no cheating the gym, right? There's no cheating fitness.
You're only gonna get out what you put in.
You got to work at it day in and day out. Like you can't go around it. It's earned. So I think that this particular goal, achieving it, not only does it give you that sense of achievement and completion, right? Like because to any of us, accomplishment is great. But I think this particular thing, because it requires so much consistency and commitment, achieving it is so rewarding that it, like you said, it just spills over into everything.
And like you said, you can't cheat it, speed it up, buy it, have someone help you with it. I mean, obviously you need a coach, but like only you can do it day in and day out, and you have to do it day in and day out to get the outcome. And there's something very powerful about having to put in that kind of work for such a consistent, long period of time that there's no way around it not transforming who you are. Like it will be the best thing you've ever done. You know what I mean? It's the best thing you could ever do for yourself, besides like starting your own business or something like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's do both. Do it all and get on stage.
I love
it. Oh, this was so great.
This was so great. Monica, where can people find you now that you're all over the internet?
Now you're actually
your address.
Find me. That's so funny. Okay. So I have my Instagram, the Monica Castro. That's my TikTok too, the Monica Castro. And
I'll tag it in our YouTube and
my
stuff.
business.
I love your TikToks.
You like my TikToks? I know. I love TikTok. I way too much time on TikTok. But and then my business one is Rio's Place. Rio's Place ABA. That's the Instagram and the Facebook.
And guys, check her out, her story, her daughter, not just what she does for a living, but what she does as a mom with her both her daughters, but her special needs daughter. Like, it's so incredible. It's such an amazing story. You definitely want to check her out and check out that story. It'll inspire you so much more to know that not only she's a business owner and a mom and all the things that a lot of us are, but she also does have a lot of work on her plate with her child, and she still does it all and does it well and goes all in.
And for all the reasons that you think you can't, those are usually the reasons that you should. So for everybody watching live, thank you
for all those heavy things in your life. This is the reason why you should do it.
100%.
It changes how you think about it, how you feel
100%.
about it.
If you are listening on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, or any of those things, If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all of the things that people do
All the
on
things.
podcasts. For everybody that's watching with us tonight on Facebook, thank you for watching. We will be back next week.
Yes. I don't remember it now.
Yeah, but we will be
But we'll be back with Monica specifically in
We will
November
be
after
back.
her third show.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We can't wait to have you back on the show and talk
Thank you
about
so
this
much.
third round to your journey. Thank you for being on the show with us.
Guys, love you guys. Thank
Love
you.
you. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.